बिल्डर ने बोला कि मैंने 200 घर बनाए हैं, आपका घर अब ब्लैकलिस्टेड,
तो वो झूठ बोल रहा है या फिर उसको पता नहीं है.
when you're a builder.
Generally, builders are concerned about only the cost.
Fair enough. Please note, the builder is only concerned about the cost, so be careful of that builder that you're dealing with, who's not bothered about aesthetics, who's not bothered about quality.
Unfortunately, builder बनने के लिए तो कोई qualification नहीं चाहिए. If you have money, you can decide कि मैं कल से building बनाऊंगा.
Right.
You can become a builder.
Let's have a dinner tonight on the moon. I give you as much money as we want. Are we going to have dinner on the moon?
Maybe Elon Musk will take us one day to do that. The concept of the show is to be able to educate you on whatever the experts in the industry that we have access to, is to bring that across to you. So I'm going to start with quoting an example, and for me and for all the august speakers here, it's very important for something called decision of when to say no. I'll cite a current example. This example is my brother-in-law has come from the US building a house for his parents in Delhi, and he went to buy an air conditioner from Chroma, and he picked up a choice of, because everybody said buy. So again, I'm giving you free advertising here, by the way. So guy was asked, he said, I have to come and inspect your house, and if I don't inspect your house and see the location of your AC, where the outdoor unit will be installed, where the windows are, where the glass is, I want to see it before I want to give you my recommendation. So he came, to cut the long story short, he came to the house, not one, not two, not three engineers, separate times, and said कि ये shaft बहुत छोटी है, यहाँ पे लग ही नहीं सकते क्योंकि 4 फ्लोर है और 5 फुट बाय 8 फुट की शार्ट में अगर मे बी यू कैन एक्सप्लेन बेटर कि अगर एसी इतने ज़्यादा होंगे तो वो तो ट्रिप कर जाएंगे सारे. तो उसने बोला आपका घर अब ब्लैकलिस्टेड है, आई हैव ब्लैकलिस्टेड योर हाउस, यू कैन बाय एनी एसी, बट इवन इफ यू बाय चांस बाय एसी, माई कंपनी विल नॉट गिव यू सर्विस. नाउ हाउ ट्रू इज दैट? एंड द नेट ऑफ व्हाट आई वांट टू से इज दैट द पावर लाइज इन द हैंड ऑफ द सेलर, the to be able to decide ke the power to say no. Is this true?
Yes. So first off, whatever person did, I am totally with those guys, because ultimately it has to every product is about performance.
Right.
Like if the product cannot perform as per design, then it should not be used. Now first of all, the AC unit should not be placed in a shaft. I mean, 5x8 shaft, it's
so why, not, just to understand from a brass tacks understanding कि why, I understood from common sense कि 3 AC हैं, बहुत heat generate करेंगे और हर फ्लोर पे 3 AC होंगे छोटी सी शाफ्ट में, तो वो it will be like a hot volcanic factory, right?
Yes.
So how does that damage me? मेरा तो घर अंदर है.
घर अंदर है, but कूलिंग नहीं होगी. जब हॉट एयर इतनी ज़्यादा होगी वहाँ पर, तो कूलिंग इफेक्ट होगी ना उसकी. So, as you said, tripping, the ACs will start tripping, they will not perform as designed, and let's say if we're talking about peak summers, you need a temperature of, let's say, 22 or 23 degrees inside, you won't get it.
तो ट्रिप करता रहेगा.
ट्रिप करता रहेगा टेम्परेचर.
घर में आपके एसी ट्रिप करते रहते हैं, मे बी चेक करिए कि आपके एसी आउटडोर यूनिट कहाँ पे इंस्टॉल्ड है.
एंड आई फील इट्स अ डिजाइन फ्लॉ, इट्स अ फ्लॉ इन प्लानिंग.
बट द बिल्डर सेड कि मैंने 200 घर बनाए हैं, सब सही है भाई साहब. तो बिल्डर ने बोला,
या तो वो झूठ बोल रहा है.
नहीं, बट वो आपको मैं आई एम पुटिंग यू ऑन द स्पॉटलाइट से, बिल्डर ने बोला कि मैंने 200 घर
मैंने नहीं बोला.
नहीं बोला, बट बिल्डर ने बोला 200 घर बनाए हैं.
या तो वो झूठ बोल रहा है या फिर उसको पता नहीं है.
बट ज्यादा क्या लगता है आकाश, पता नहीं है या झूठ बोल रहा है या पैसे बचते हैं?
देखिए, जो है बेसिकली इज अ हीट पंप.
हीट पंप, यस.
So if you are pumping out a lot of heat into a smaller area, the ACs will naturally start tripping, and there will be some kind of a short circuit of the cooling cycle itself.
But isn't that common sense when you're a builder?
It is, but then common sense ना वही ना. So as we were talking earlier कि unfortunately builder बनने के लिए आपको कोई qualification नहीं चाहिए. So tomorrow you can, if you have money, you can decide कि मैं कल से बिल्डिंग बनाऊंगा.
Right.
You can become a builder. So,
but there are so many things to know, and I quoted this example of air conditioning. As I understood, as all of us have been around in this industry for a while, that it was wooden windows. Then Mario, it changed all of a sudden to UPVC from 2000 in the area. And by 2015, the only window known was UPVC. And now aluminium system windows, so to say, have come back. We will talk about windows in a separate section going forward in time. But these changing trends, why? How? What's the chronology?
Consumer wants to experience something new.
But who tells something to the consumer? We tell.
We, yes, of course, yes.
So do you say no to a customer? How often is you want the business, right? Everybody wants the business.
I
right?
do say no when things
Quote me an example when you said no. Like, I won't.
I'll quote you one after you.
Okay.
Okay, Mario, you go first.
Structure safety. I want to have
Structural
only safety. I
Okay.
want to have only this member, and if you cannot do, someone else will do. I want to have only this kind of glass, and it is not safe if you don't do, someone else will do. When we talk about security and safety on the product, when someone asks something which I cannot fulfill, I'm going to say 100% no, and I tell the why. When I tell whoever is offering it, please focus on these points.
Quote an example. Delhi, Goa, Bombay, Goa, wherever.
An example,
Like real-time example.
when we have member thicknesses and when we have large heights and below this a sliding door. When I do have, like now when we have most of the villas, residences, I step in, I have a large double height, maybe 6 meter in width, 8 meter in height, and then below I have a sliding door. And it means the entire weight from the glazing from the top is lying on the structure, and my sliding door has to perform. And we know in our sliding section, we have maybe a tolerance level of 2-3 millimeter. And considering that a ton of glass is lying there on top, that's why the members which are needed to get it safe, they are there. So they are protecting either to the inside, or I'll make it in an invisible
That
area.
responsibility is with the...
It's with me. It is with me because I'm going to get an opening which is completely there. So
Right.
then we are having our structure consultant, so we are going there via a third party, and whatever advice and drawing he gives, I'm going to follow. When I can still say, okay, when we want to go in a direction X, how much bigger and how much wider the section has to be, but while sitting over there, we are going to reach to certain conclusion which we cannot deny or which we cannot overrule.
So-
and if the customer wants to have it different, then we are stepping out.
But the customer says, I'll give you as much money as you want, do the job. You said no. Now what do?
I can't do anything about the physics. Then I always say, very mean, let's have a dinner tonight on the moon. I give you as much money as we want. Are we going to have dinner on the moon? So I want to have snowfall today in Delhi. So this is...
I'd also like to pitch in here. So I think the responsibility also lies with the builder.
Right.
I mean, as much as with the fenestration expert, the responsibility also lies with the builder, the architect, and also the consumer.
Correct. All of them.
Yeah.
But who's the single point responsibility holder? There can be one.
There can be, but unfortunately, it's that's not the case.
always
I would
a
say,
collective decision.
yeah. So because the consumer is more concerned about aesthetics.
Correct.
Most often, architect is also concerned more
Aesthetics.
about aesthetics. Generally, builders are concerned about only the cost,
Fair enough.
right? And the
Please note, the builder is only concerned about the cost, so be careful of that builder that you're dealing with, who's not bothered about aesthetics, who's not bothered about quality. But having said that, there are a lot of people who build great homes and they are conscious, and there are a lot of people who build homes only from cost. The only for cost is not something that you should be doing.
yeah, so it is a collective responsibility. So the way we do is, let's say if there is an opening which is wide and high enough, while designing, we'll engage the fenestration expert while we are designing and planning. Like when he said, if you get an opening of 6 meters by 8 meters, it's not something that has to be an afterthought. It has to be envisioned earlier.
So one of the checklist parameter which I think that I can capture from this conversation is that anything that you're doing which is coming as your finishing elements, window being one of them, please try to take that as the first important checklist is while you're designing your house, make sure that the parameters which have safety and security, which is glass, glass and windows must be built in at that time. So as to making sure that tomorrow the opening is set and the frame cannot be set, the window cannot be put, then you are going for a little bit of toss. But let me tell you also one more thing, कि cost ना बढ़ती नहीं है. Whatever you do today, if you plan it well, it doesn't increase your cost.
Oh, it will save.
It will save.
It will save on cost, time. It will increase the quality, at least for sure, and also reduce a lot of headache and pain.
And in the planning stage, we can play about various options.
Yes.
When this is my budget, I cannot exceed it. Okay, then compromise maybe in this design. Are we okay with? Or we are going specifically accordingly to this. Are we okay with the budget? So at the planning stage, I can do anything. You can put in big MS member, or you can put another pillar column in, an RCC in. So all these things can be discussed when we are stepping in at the designing stage.
Yeah.
So, but that's important that you step in the element of whether it's flooring, whether it's windows at the time of the planning, keeping in view the budgets that you have.
Yes.
Because when you plan and you dream that you will have dinner on the moon, which is never going to happen, maybe Elon Musk will take us one day to do that, but that will cost $1 billion. But having said that, we keep focused on the subject of building homes, is to be able to know the harsh reality कि आप कितना खर्च कर सकते हो